Hey everybody, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden. Today we're out in our backyard and we're gonna transplant some of our cuttings into larger pots.
Yeah, they need it really bad. And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
So that's always fun. We've got our green on.
Yep, we're green.
Also, you guys, stick around to the end of this video because we're starting another new giveaway this week. It's Wednesday, so every Wednesday this whole month of March, we're giving away and starting a new giveaway.
Yep, Wednesday to Sunday.
That's right. So we'll tell you a lot more about it at the end of the episode, but we want to get our cuttings potted first.
Yep, so you get to watch us do it today.
Yeah, we've got a lot to show you too.
Yeah. Wow. So guys, we're out on our pallet table. Yay, the pallet table. And so we've got our seedlings out here. We're getting them, we're hardening those off as we speak. So we got some of those up here.
They're looking good too.
Yeah, and then we've also got our cuttings outside. And what we're doing here, we are going to, put these into, we're going to transplant these into larger pots. We're going to level up on our pot size on most of these. And so we need to do that out here. Maybe you've got some cuttings that you took over this last year, maybe this last fall or this winter. And so you're ready to transplant, but you're not really sure how to do that. And so we're going to show you how to do that, how we do it. And hopefully that'll help you.
All right, you guys. Yeah, this is pretty fun, right? We're pretty excited about all of these new plants. But the deal is, you guys, it's still pretty cold at night, and we don't want to put these tender cuttings right into the ground. Plus, we don't know where we're going to put all of them yet. We still are kind of coming up with our plan. We've got some landscaping to do, and we're just not ready for that step yet. What we do is get some of these bigger cuttings into some larger, like gallon-sized pots, and just let their roots keep growing, and Sean will explain a little more about that. But we've got all of our soil ready, and we've got enough containers set out for all of these cuttings that we have everywhere. We also have a couple trays that are going to fit on top of one of our new vertical planters from Garai. And we're going to plant some lettuce and some mustard greens today so we can get those like growing and producing a little faster. These are movable, so we can keep these in our greenhouse for the cold nights. And then once the temps kind of rise above, freezing in a couple weeks, we'll be able to move these outside and keep them there.
So before we get into the transplanting, there's a couple things we wanted to talk to you about today. One thing definitely is your plants, after they've rooted, after your cuttings have actually rooted, you got to monitor their roots. You want to check them, like this little guy right here, this little fuchsia cutting. You want to check them every once in a while, and you want to see how their roots are doing. And you can see this one's got a lot of roots. It's doing really well. They're not circling yet, and that's really good. Now, the reason I'm telling you this, the reason we wanted to tell you this today is because when you have your cuttings and they're rooting, you don't want them to circle, because what's going to happen is they're going to keep circling, and that's going to actually create stress on the plant. It's going to almost stunt it in a way, and it's going to keep it at a certain size because it can't literally keep growing out. It can't keep developing its roots, and it needs to do that because then actually as the roots grow out, it can then grow on top. Talking about root to shoot ratio, and there's a couple different ways to think about it. Some people literally want you to weigh a certain part of the plant in grams and measure that to another part of the plant and then get a ratio going. A certain ratio works, five for this, or 5 parts this to 5 parts that, or 5 grams of this to 6 grams of that. Well, we're not going to get into that today because that's way too complicated. What we want to do is we want to give you the idea of what happens above on top of the plant you see as growth also needs to be happening down below in the roots, what you don't see. And it's, from that standpoint, it's a root to shoot ratio. So what happens down below in the roots needs to be relatable and as a ratio of what's happening up above on top of the plant. So you want to basically have balance. There's a balance to things, right? So in plants, there's also a balance. And when one part of the plant is not growing as well as it could, or is stunted or diseased or anything, and there's dieback or something's going on down below that's negative on the plant, that's creating stress, it's going to affect the top part of the plant, right? Because they're interrelated, they're connected, they influence each other. So guys, to give you an example of what this looks like, we're going to take our fuchsia cutting here that we showed you just a moment ago. We're going to pop it out of its pot, and I'm going to tease away these, all this soil from it as best I can, nicely as I can. And we're going to show you a possible root to shoot ratio of this little cutting. This is a fuchsia cutting that we took. Now you can see here's a portion of the plant. If you think about it in general terms, here's the growing portion, right? If we take that same piece and kind of go like this, look at that. It's almost the same amount of roots laid out just in general as the top portion of the plant. And that's pretty cool. That's actually something that we really want to see. Now, something that would be even better on this is if we saw even more thicker root system down below, but to see this balance in this general way of what we're seeing here, this is great. This is really good news. That means the plant is healthy. It's got a good balance of roots to shoots. And that's really the point we want to make to you today. So guys, with this balance, what we just talked to you about, you need to keep in mind that when things change above or below the plant, that will influence the opposite on that plant. So if there's root dieback on a plant for whatever reason, there's going to be dieback and attrition on the top where it's going to lose leaf mass if it can't rebalance those roots. And also, if the leaves or portions of the plant are removed or dieback on the top of the plant, there's going to be dieback in the roots. So when you have the dieback in the roots or on the top of the plant with the removal, it tries to compensate. The plant might try to grow that balance back to rebalance the whole plant. But if it can't grow that back fast enough, there will be dieback either in the roots or in the top. It's something you want to keep in mind as you see a plant go through its life cycle. So guys, with all that, talking's over with, we got to get these transplanted right, so let's start doing that. This is just like transplanting any plant or planting any plant out in your garden. You tease the roots out, get them nice and loose, get that plant, make that hole in your pot here, and get that nicely set inside there. Make sure those roots are splayed out as best you can. And remember, when you're doing this, don't plant the plant deeper or higher than it already was planted in its previous pot in that soil. So the soil level needs to be the same. So what you can see here is I want to have this plant right about, there's a little line right there if you can see that on the stem right there. That's where I want to have the dirt go to, the soil go to. Otherwise, I'm going to plant it either too low or too high. And whether you plant it too low or too high, it's going to create some issues later on. And so you just don't want any issues with your plants. You don't want to stress them out because that'll lead to stress. So we're going to plant it at the right depth. And so I just kind of over planted it there. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit as I tamp this down. And some people might say you want to wet the soil down before you do this, but it makes it kind of mucky and it just makes kind of a mess. So we do it dry, and then what we do is we water them in right after we plant them. So that's our preference anyway. So, oh yeah, look at that. Boy, that looks nice. You guys see that? And when we water these in, we're trying to make sure that we're not getting the leaves too wet or wet at all. In this case, it's kind of hard not to with the watering can we have, but the less water on the leaves, the better, so we don't run into any foliar issues of disease or maybe insects that like really wet leaf tissue to then come and chomp on or do what they do on them. So guys, before we really just knock all this out, we wanted to tell you about which cuttings we have out here. We've got our geranium cuttings that we took last year, and there's a couple behind Allison there behind the camera that we can look at. Yep, these guys
here,
right.
Two different types of geraniums.
Yep.
Got lots of, there's multiple plants in there too. Mm-hmm. So that's super cool.
We've got some more fuchsias that we're gonna pot up. We've got some Spanish lavender here. Yay. That we're gonna repot. Definitely the hot lip salvia. We got 3 of those. We're really excited about that. And then we've got, oh, there's a rosemary. One of the few we can pot up right now.
Yeah, our rosemaries, we have a couple more inside our greenhouse and the rest didn't make it.
Yeah. Well, and the parent plant that these came from wasn't looking the best when we took the cuttings. So it was already a little stressed, but that was part of our experiment too. And I think we mentioned that in that video. And so looking here, we've got some new growth. We're very hopeful. We'll see what happens. And then last but not least, our lavender cuttings.
Oh, yay.
These English lavenders right here. And so these 3 are looking super good. So guys, now here comes the work. You ready? Let's do this.
Okay, you guys, here they are. All the cuttings have been spread out into new pots. Some of them are in bigger pots. Some of them just like got separated from their initial home with their other cutting buddy. So they're looking really good. And I don't know if you could see on the video, like Sean was showing you, some of the roots were really well established and they were in like little clumps, like little root balls. So that was really, we were excited to see that. So everybody's here. The fuchsias are in the shade over there. We also got two trays planted here. So we've got mustard greens in that one and just kind of a gourmet lettuce blend from Botanical Interest in that one. So we still have a lot more mustard greens. We obviously grew a few too many, but we'll spread them around in different spots around the yard.
So guys, that's it for the day. That's all the work we're gonna do, but we're not done talking with you yet. We need to tell you about this week's giveaway.
Yay!
Yay!
So we've partnered with Botanical Interest to create what we're calling a seed planting pack. So what we've got is one of our two winners will win one of our little divvies, which is our brand new tool that we're introducing and launching to the world this year.
Yep, you get to pick your color.
You get to pick your color.
Yeah guys, the little divvy, it's a two tools in one kind of tool. It has two uses. It has the dibber end with the graduated depth markings on it to make it easy for you to plant your seeds. And then there's the widger end, which is to help you actually transplant and thin your seeds. So two tools in one.
That actually helped really well when I was planting all those tiny little seedlings. I was able, it helped me plant them.
Yep.
Like I could kind of tap the soil down really gently around them. So that was, I didn't expect that. That was cool.
Pretty cool.
But Botanical Interest donated a bunch of seeds. So we've got 5 seeds to give away in addition to your choice of one color of the divvy.
Yep.
So what do we have here? We've got onions, we've got lettuce, we've got zinnias. Wait,
zinnias.
Probably can't see those. There we go.
Yep, there we go.
We have sunflowers, this is a huge pack of sunflowers.
Wow.
We didn't realize that we had ordered this big, so this is so cool.
Wow.
And pole beans. Look at this huge
Who doesn't like
assortment of pole beans. Is that all of them?
I think so, yeah.
So 5 seed packs, a little divvy, and you'll be on your way for spring planting. So if you want to enter, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and in the comments down below, let us know why you want to win this seed planting pack. Now we also have a chance to win going on our Instagram page over on Instagram at Spoken Garden. And it's a similar contest, but it has a little bit different parameters. So go ahead and read the directions over there. And you can enter over there for a chance to win as well, but you can only claim the prize on one, either YouTube or Instagram.
Yep. And the directions for how to enter this contest will be listed down below too in the description.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah guys, with all that, leave your comments and questions down below for us. We love hearing from you. Give us that thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job, and subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos.
And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you for watching, and have a great day, you guys.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.